everyone, thanks so much for being here. My name is Kat and I make houseplant videos here on Good and Planty. If you just happened to absolutely love this video, please consider liking it, commenting, subscribing, or following me on Instagram. All of these things help me grow my channel like a plant. As we all know, I love spring. I'm sure a lot of you do as well. So today we are going to be talking about my 5 favorite houseplants this spring. Some of them are spring specific, some of them are just plants that I've been really enjoying lately. We are gonna kick things off with, ooh. Oh, hold on. Oh my God, okay. So I wanted to talk about my HOYA CARNOSA Crimson Princess here, and I don't talk about her all that much because she is really big and it's not always convenient for me to grab her and talk about her on camera. This plant recently I've moved more directly into my living space. She used to be tucked away closer to the rooftop and I didn't get around to seeing her all that often, but now she is a huge centerpiece in my living room under a Soltech grow light and she has been taking off. I have her on this rounded trellis and she's slowly making her way up. I really don't talk about her all that often, but she's doing really well and she is quite a little statement plant. I love getting a large Hoya and kind of having it start to vine up something. I got her a few years ago from Home Depot on sale, believe it or not, and she's just been thriving with me ever since. The reason that I freaked out, if you look closely here, I think that we have a new peduncle which is where the flower comes off of. I'm pretty sure this is new. Hold on, let me try to get it. There she is. My Hoya don't bloom for me all that often because I have a lot of more juvenile Hoya cuttings, propagations, and I've had a few Hoya bloom in my time, but this one has only bloomed one other time for me, and this is the most exciting thing ever. I'm over the moon. I think that the bright light under the grow light is contributing to this, and wow, she's just doing amazing. I'm so happy. Oh my God, there's no better feeling than a peduncle. Okay, next up we have a plant that I've never talked about, you have never seen, because it is not technically mine, it's for a project and I have it on deck in my house right now, but it totally has a spot in the top 5, and that is herbs in general. This specifically is, it's some kind of rosemary. I know there's different kinds, but it smells so good. It smells so good. This is a great time to pick up some herbs or some starter plants for your gardens and keep them inside until that last frost passes and you're feeling comfortable to move them outdoors. I just wanted to kind of highlight the perks of these. They are obviously functional, it's food, they smell great. They do demand quite a bit of water and light, but you know, I mean, it's only temporary. I don't really recommend keeping these indoors year round. For the time being, for the next month or so, I think it's perfectly fine to keep them safe in your home until you're ready to move them outside. I've grown a few herbs and food from seed in my apartment, but it is nice to just have like a pre-grown plant available. Makes it a lot easier, and it made me really excited to get outside on my rooftop and start my little garden for this year. The time is coming, I can smell it in the air. Just a few more cold nights have to pass and then we'll be good to go. I haven't turned my air conditioner on yet. I'm like really holding out. It's getting hot. It's getting really hot in this apartment. Okay, what do we want to do next? Oh, okay, hold on. This does not look super exciting. We have our pothos here, but this is a big triumph in my book. She was on her last leg. She was so neglected and in pretty low light. I was really pushing it with this one. It came to a point where I just had to cut her way back. Like most of this foliage was not there. Maybe some of you kind of remember when I made the switch. I was like pretty sure she was gonna bounce back because pothos are very resilient. It's one of the things I really love about them, but it is always really comforting to see them actually bounce back, and it definitely boosts my confidence a little bit. Here's just proof that if your pothos is dying, I mean, her vines were like a few feet long. It was a very large plant. We did have to start completely over. I chopped all of her vines down. She only had like a few little leaves up top. I moved her to like pretty bright indirect light closer to a window. I water her a lot more consistently now, and she's definitely very appreciative of this newfound attention. I'm including it in my favorites list because this is a plant right now that is making me really, really happy because I feel like we made it through thick and thin together. I've had her for, I think that this plant is actually one of the first plants I bought in my first apartment out of college. So this is also like a very sentimental plant to me. I got her from like Home Depot as well before I knew anything about houseplants. She was actually potted directly in a ceramic planter with a very tiny drainage hole. So there was a lot of learning with this plant. Glad I didn't just like toss her or give her away. I actually committed to taking care of her and rehabbing her, and it's coming out really nicely. She's bouncing back. I think that the spring is gonna be really, really good for her, which is awesome. I love her, I love her. Okay, next up we have a big one. We have, I'm gonna hold it like way back. We have this MONSTERA DELICIOSA. And this was given to me from a friend who was moving to a different state and could not bring so many plants with her. And so these are one of the ones that I was lucky enough to inherit. She is just so funny. My mom came to visit me actually, and she saw this plant and calls it the Here I Am plant because it's just like, here I am. But it's really fun, and I have her placed kind of near my really big MONSTERA DELICIOSA, so it is really fun to have like a mini version next to the really large plant. Ever since she came to me from New York, ever since she's been in my care, we got this gorgeous new leaf. Hello. Glossy. Fenestrated. And then we also have this baby munchkin coming in here. And all in all, it's just like a very fun plant. She did get a little burnt by, I believe, a radiator, but we are like making a comeback together. A lot of these plants are honestly ones, well, not all. This and the pothos are ones that I'm just like happy to be on like a little journey with. Yeah, MONSTERA are pretty easy plants at the end of the day. They're very resilient. Similar to the pothos, they bounce back through a lot. They don't need a whole lot of water. They are definitely drought tolerant. On top of that, they are pretty flexible with light, but if you want the fenestrations and the really big leaves and happy growth, then you're gonna absolutely want bright and direct light. Those are my little tips for the MONSTERA. And she's just so fun. She refuses to be in frame. That's fine. She doesn't have a drainage hole, so maybe that's something that we need to course correct. Or maybe my friends should watch my videos. Just kidding, most of them do. Shout out to my friends, love you guys. Okay, last plant on today's little list is the SCINDAPSUS PICTUS. I've talked about this plant before on my channel, but I kind of go in waves with this plant. It was definitely a bit of a learning curve because they require more water than I thought they did. I thought they were a little bit more similar to philodendron that are known to be pretty drought tolerant depending on the species and variety, but I was like sure that this was like a very drought tolerant plant, and in my personal experience that is not the case. They want consistent water. They want like a light moisture kind of sitting in the soil, not too heavy, otherwise they will totally get root rot. But this is a plant that requires a lot of watering balance, light balance, because they are also kind of like a low light tolerant plant, but you can't go too low light. This is just like a plant that you have to do a little dance with in terms of care and kind of figure out what is working for the plant and for you. After all of that learning, I think we've kind of found like a middle ground. She is leaning towards a pretty low light environment. She has a skylight above her, but it's like really up high and it doesn't get a whole lot of light through there. I've also been really on top of her watering and making sure that she's like consistently happy. When they start to get thirsty, their leaves will begin to curl up like that, and that's how you can know it's time to water them. But all in all, I don't know, she's doing pretty good. She grows a lot and gets pretty leggy. These plants definitely need a lot of pruning as well. So I think it's a pretty, believe it or not, beginner-friendly plant because it's so vocal, but it's not the easiest plant by any means, surprisingly, because it is a pretty common plant around me. Those are my tips for success with the Scindapsus. I definitely need to add in like a top dressing. That's not looking too good. But other than that, we are snapping. Okay, and those are all of my spring favorites right now. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. Please comment down below your favorite houseplants right now, especially with the spring coming. I'm so excited. I really appreciate you all. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!